Amos and Francis, a reflection for the 15th Sunday in Ordinary Time. This Sunday, we hear from another unwelcome troublemaker, Amos. In the timeline of biblical history, he prophesies some 200 years before last week's hero, Ezekiel. Israel, once united under King David and his famously wise son Solomon, now exists as two kingdoms in uneasy alliance, Israel in the north and Judah in the south. In Israel, prosperity reigns, while the poor suffer, and ritual worship turns a blind eye. From the point of view of God's justice, things have gone south in the north, and the Lord summons Amos, a humble ranch hand from the southern kingdom of Judah, to cross the border to the north and deliver a dire warning. As a southerner with an accent, he finds hospitality and acceptance wanting, especially as he confronts the Israelites on issues of social and political, and therefore religious, corruption. In today's reading, this part-time prophet, on sabbatical from his regular job of tending sycamores and sheep, comes up against the king's priest, Amaziah, who questions his credentials. A few verses before today's passage begins, Amos disrupts liturgy at the all-important shrine of Bethel, the king's sanctuary and a royal temple, and delivers his predictions of coming disaster. Then we listen in as the local priest in charge, Amaziah, trying to dispel any suspicion of his own incompetence, attempts to shout down Amos as an ignorant foreigner and a professional prophet, implying charlatan. "Off with you, visionary! Flee to the land of Judah. There earn your bread by prophesying." Amos recognizes the implied insult and quickly counters, "I was no prophet, nor have I belonged to a company of prophets." He further explains that he left his former occupation as a shepherd and dresser of sycamores to take up prophecy at God's bidding. Otherwise, we assume, he would have stuck with the sheep. Thus, his authority comes not from previous reputation or association with other practitioners in the shady trade of false prophecy, but from the Lord God himself. The testimony of Amos still rings true here and now in today's world. Unprecedented prosperity exists for a very few. Poverty reigns over many, and the rest settle for the increasingly shaky middle ground. Under such circumstances, worship and religious rhetoric can easily slip into a self-congratulatory mode, designed to maintain the status quo as somehow ordained by the Almighty. In the last several years, Pope Francis has taken up the prophetic role, challenging Catholics, all Christians and all people of faith, purveyors of political power and influence, and leaders in the global marketplace to take a good hard look at the way the present system fails to deliver the common good. Not surprisingly, the Amaziah types question his credentials. What does he know about economics? He should stick to his own expertise, faith and morals, and stay out of politics. lest we yield to the temptation to sit on the sidelines, enjoying our share of the pie of prosperity and power, today's gospel prods us toward bringing the good news, as Jesus proclaimed it in word and action, to bear on our world, and more specifically, on our engagement with the world. Yes, the reading recounts Jesus' initial sending of the 12, those who would eventually be called apostles, of whom we Catholics consider the Pope a successor. We might think ourselves exempt from this great commission, yet the Gospel according to St. Luke expands the number of those sent 2 by 2 to 70, or 72. Such a big and highly symbolic number includes all of us. We too are sent to call out and cast out the unclean spirits that still reign in the systems and societies that surround us.